Hi there. Today I'm going to teach you the secrets to restoring the energy of the body to that of a 20-year-old. I'm going to invite you to learn the top 5 reasons you're tired and the 7 key factors to have the energy of a 20-year-old. So starting with number 1 is caffeine and white sugar. These are 2 compounds that will deplete you of energy. Caffeine stimulates the body to produce adrenaline. Adrenaline triggers the body to produce insulin. Insulin then locks onto glucose and carries it into the cells, and you temporarily create energy, but through stimulation, which then the price that you pay is that your body goes acidic and you end up lowering your oxygen levels and lowering your energy levels to the point of even being very fatigued and even depressed. And the next, of course, is white sugar that we know is devoid of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and so it basically steals those out of your cells to help your body be able to metabolize it, leaving your body again acidic and depleted. The second is an acid pH. So many people in the health field still are not paying attention to this topic and are not aware of its importance. But it was well documented with the work of Dr. Kay Reams and later with the work of Dr. Carl Reich, which I'll talk about in a moment. The third is not following the blood type diet. So if you have a health issue, one of the biggest things you can do to support your return to health is to adopt the diet that is compatible for your blood type, which again, I'll explain this all in a few moments. Fourth is mercury toxicity and other toxins that have to be removed. And fifth is being an undermethylator. These are the 5 top reasons that the body has a lack of energy. Whether you're 15 or whether you're 50, these are the top 5 reasons. Now, the 7 key factors to have the energy of a 20-year-old are: start your day with methylated supplements that gives your body natural energy, not stimulation. 2, replace white sugar with natural sweeteners. The body's favorite fuel is glucose for the brain and for the body, and so eating raisins, dates, unheated honey, these things are all natural and healthy sweeteners. Third is to restore an alkaline pH as measured in the saliva in the morning hours to be 7 to 7.5. Fourth is to follow the blood type diet because this enables you to avoid the suppression of your cell's ability to make energy. Fifth, detoxify mercury and other toxins from your body by going to our website, Synergistic Nutrition, which is sgn80.com, samgeorgenancy80.com, and go to the reports section on the right-hand side, in the upper right-hand side of the website. Click on that report link and you'll be taken to a reports page where you will find a mercury detox protocol report that you can download for free. And that is the most sophisticated and effective way that I've devised and learned to detoxify mercury and all toxins in the shortest period of time. Sixth, take the correct supplements to support the healing to your adrenal glands. We know the adrenals are the central organ system responsible for producing energy, which is why people like caffeine. So let's nurture them and restore them to their full strength capacity. Seventh is to compensate for being an undermethylator by taking methylated supplements, which I'll explain what all that is in a few moments. So the first question I have to ask you is, how well are your adrenal glands working? Do you have difficulty getting to and staying asleep? Are you tired when you wake up in the morning? Do you feel more awake at night than in the morning? Do you get tired between 3 and 5 p.m. every day? Is your sex drive low? Are you depressed some or all of the time? Do you have highs and lows in your mood or energy? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you may likely be suffering from adrenal fatigue or a more depleted state of adrenal exhaustion. So it's well known in Chinese medicine that the adrenal and kidney system is sort of like the central core life force system of the body. So one of the keys to creating the energy of a 20-year-old is to have robustly healthy adrenal glands so that you can produce all the epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine hormones that not only give you mental clarity, focus, and drive, but physical energy. The desire to work out with weights. So I'll get to how to nourish the adrenals and literally rebuild them. I am living proof of being able to heal the adrenal glands. So back when I was a teenager and I was poisoned with mercury fillings when I was 15 and a half, I lived for 4 years, hardly able to move my bowels, hardly able to eat any food because so little was exiting my body that I was semi-fasting for 4 years, so that by age 21, I woke up one morning feeling half dead and like part of my body had shut down and like a tank had rolled over me. And from that point on, I had this fatigue factor that I never had before. I was always very athletic, that I've always had to work to rebuild. And so over the years, I've learned ways to not only nourish and support the adrenals so that immediately they can rest and rebuild, but give them the things that they need to rebuild themselves and become really healthy again. But before we go to what those items are, we need to address the energy factor right away. And if you were to start your day with these 4 items, Synergy 1, Triphos B, ATP, and all basic, you would likely experience such a phenomenal increase in energy and mood and productivity that you'd be like sold forever on the value of this kind of high-tech nutritional intervention to your quality of life and lifestyle. These 4 products work together to do a myriad of things. When you take Synergy 1, you experience the ability to sleep deeply at night, which then enables your adrenals to recover so well at night that when you wake up in the morning, you feel fully rested and ready to get out of bed and reserve energy for the whole day. But then if you take Triphos B and ATP, Triphos B is supporting the body's ability to create energy and create neurotransmitters so that you end up having that whole energy component working. ATP is the energy molecule of the body. So let's say you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and the actual number of energy-producing factories in the cell called the mitochondria has reduced in numbers, and that's what happens. When you're young, you'll have a higher number of energy-producing factories in the cells called mitochondria. So that's one of the reasons why you have so much more energy. And as you age, your number of mitochondria decline and reduce in number inside the cell, so you end up having less energy production. So you can overcome that by simply taking the energy molecule of the body called ATP. Then there's All Basic. All Basic supplies free-form amino acids that get into the bloodstream in 25 minutes, and in about 45 minutes they're going to work to stabilize blood sugar, create neurotransmitters, neurohormones, give you physical energy, help you produce protein, help you support the immune system. These 4 products alone will wow you, I'm pretty sure. But an even more important aspect and the foundation of our health is our pH. Now, Dr. Carl Reich was a medical doctor that in the 50s through the 70s was basically using nutrition to help his patients regain their health. And what he found was that when a patient's saliva pH was 7.5, they had no health issues. But that if their pH was 6.5 or lower, they did have health issues. And if it was below 6, they had serious health issues. So he would instruct them in diet and supplementation to fix this. And over the course of weeks to months, their pH would come back up. And when it would become 7 to 7.5, either their health issues were 100% gone or they were dramatically improved. So Dr. Carl Reich's medical practice documented and proved that our body's pH should be alkaline, and it's reflected in the saliva. So the way it works is that your blood pH is 7.35 to 7.45 all the time, or if it changes too much in either direction, you die. So the body always sacrifices alkaline elements in the tissues and things, so that if you drank a Coca-Cola or something very acidic, that your body's going to compensate by stealing alkaline minerals and alkaline proteins out of the tissues to neutralize this incoming acid, as well as sacrifice red blood cells. So if there is too many acids entering the bloodstream, your blood cells will die, so that the red blood cells rupture, open up, and the histidine, arginine, and lysine amino acids are able to neutralize those acids and thus help prevent you from dying. But this also creates such a rapid die-off of red blood cells that it creates anemia. But it's not iron deficiency anemia, it's anemia due to this loss of red blood cells. So the blood then influences the creation of the lymph, and the lymph then therefore is alkaline, and the lymph then therefore creates the saliva. So this 7 to 7.5 pH is the ideal, with 7.5 being the best. There is actually a chiropractor that I know that went to Nepal, and I've told this story before, but it's worth repeating. The Nepalese men work at 17,000 feet, where they were traveling and touring. They were hiking the mountains, and so these men would carry the weight of the tourists on their back, 400 pounds at a time, at 17,000 feet all day long. And these men would do other jobs working in these mountain ranges all day long at high elevations, which is very thin air. And they had this robust energy and well-being that they could do that. And he tested their saliva pH, and their saliva pH was 7.2 to 7.4. So there's another indication of a healthy population where their pH is reflected in the alkaline state in their saliva. So the way that you determine your body pH is by using pH paper that's got a pH range of 5.5 to 8. We carry this on our website. It's very affordable, 10 bucks for a 14-foot roll that'll last you quite a long time. You tear off some pH paper, you milk your mouth to make some saliva. This is done in the morning when you wake up. So before you brush your teeth, before you eat anything, before you drink any food like juice or whatever, you milk your mouth for some saliva, you spit on the pH paper, and the color will change. You end up with either being in the yellow range, which would be acidic, or being in the green range, which would be about close to neutral, or the green to blue range, which would be the alkaline range that you want to be. So I'll show you my pH. And you can see there that I'm in the 7.6 range of a pH. So this is very ideal. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why my body is high in oxygen, why my body will produce more energy. And I am a meat eater, so I'm an O blood type, and my body does best on eating foods like fish, beef, lamb, buffalo, elk, animal proteins, and all kinds of fishes. And so even though these are acid-forming foods, because they're compatible with my body, then my cells will make energy more efficiently and less acid waste, so you end up with a more alkaline pH. So you do this every day in the morning, testing your saliva pH for 3 days, and then you'll have the average of what your saliva pH is. And say you're in the 5.5 range or the 6 range. You're going to want to alkalize your body. You're going to want to put out the fire of this acid and the inflammation that it's causing by neutralizing these acids with alkalinity. So how do we do that? We do that with lime water, we do that with Cal-2, and we do that with the trace minerals. So the trace minerals regulate the cell's ability to make proteins. You have 64 codons on the DNA. They need to be activated by individual minerals so that the signaling system for proper cellular protein synthesis is operating. The trace minerals do that, or that's the theory, and all evidence supports that. So taking a tablespoon or 2 of the Liquamin twice a day would be the way you address getting all the trace minerals that are not in the food supply because they're not in the soil. The lime water is giving you the calcium hydroxide in a liquid state, which will then alkalize the body very quickly so that you can neutralize these acids. This is a product that was developed by Dr. K. Reams, and basically that was in the 1930s that this brilliant soil scientist that basically figured out not only how to make soil fertile and plants super healthy, but also how to apply that knowledge to animals and humans and achieve dramatic improvements in health. And third is the Cal-2. So Cal-2 contains calcium carbonate and calcium hydroxide in the pill form. So here you have something where you'll take, say, if the pH was what I said earlier, 5.5 to 6, that's very acidic. You're going to want to take probably 2 to 3 of these 2 to 3 times a day with meals. And this will be a slow release form of alkalization so that you have the balance of both quick and slow that ends up helping you to achieve this alkalinity for 24 hours at a time. Now, one of the means by which the body makes energy is to produce ATP, the energy molecule, adenosine triphosphate, within the mitochondria of the cell. But another means by which the body makes energy that most people have no awareness of is the reaction between acid and alkaline elements. And so I have here, I want to demonstrate this for you. Basically, you've got vinegar here, white vinegar that's going to be a pH, it's pH of 1.9, a little over that, and baking soda, which is alkaline. So very acidic, very alkaline. And I'm going to just mix this, and you can see you've got this bubbling action. It's bubbling over. That is the release of tons of energy. So you end up with, you can see that. It's basically just really, really. So you have all these acids and alkalines that are now bonding to each other, neutralizing and releasing a ton of energy. So that happens in the body. So you end up being able to make a ton of energy just by alkalinizing yourself with alkaline supplements. And I have a case history that I'm going to share with you at the end of this presentation of a lady friend of mine who basically followed my instructions, and she was blown away by how much more energy she had. Another means by which our body makes energy is methylation. So as I said in the beginning, that when you're an undermethylator, your body has a hard time making energy. That is basically how much you're able to use a specific chemical in the body. So it's carbon and 3 hydrogen. So 1 carbon and 3 hydrogen is called a methyl group. So this particular chemical can be in abundance in your body, but its ability to both couple with chemicals or decouple with chemicals is what determines how much energy you have, how well you detoxify, how well you create neurotransmitters, how good your mood is, just quite a few different things. And we now know through genetic testing of your saliva, you can do a saliva test with 23andMe. It's like 99 bucks last time I checked. And you'll see genetically if you're genetically an undermethylator, a balanced methylator, or an overmethylator. And it's really helpful because up to 50% of the population is considered to be undermethylators. The inability to produce energy optimally, the inability to detoxify efficiently, the inability to produce neurotransmitters on a 24-hour basis, moment to moment, enough sleep chemicals to sleep deeply, So methylation is super, super important, and many of us don't have the proper nutrients to ensure that we are methylating correctly and optimally. So simply by taking specific nutrients to compensate for this genetic condition, and sometimes the condition of undermethylation is induced because of previous exposure to mercury or drugs or anything that damages the cells. But in many cases it's genetic in nature. So you can compensate for this with specific nutrients. So some of the causes of undermethylation is a lack of methionine, choline, betaine, homocysteine, or a lack of essential cofactors like B12, folate, zinc, B2, B3, B6, which of course is found in the triphos B and the active B vitamins to get those particular ones. And then the methionine is found in the all basic product. And when you take these, all of a sudden your body's able to do these chemical reactions of methylation, and you detoxify efficiently. You produce the brain chemicals that improve your mood. You start to strengthen your immune system and start to repair your body better. It's just a bunch of factors that basically involve the reaction of the coupling of this methyl donor and the uncoupling of this chemical CH3. The solution to these interferences that I've just mentioned is a combination of things. One is to detoxify your body of the mercury and chemical and heavy metals. So you need to go to our website and get that report that I mentioned earlier. The other is to eat foods compatible with your blood type. So in the book, Live Right for Your Type by Peter J. D'Adamo, the son of Peter D'Adamo, you'll learn that we have these particular sugars on the surface of all the cells of our body. It's actually more accurately to be called your body type, because it's not just your blood cells. It's your intestinal lining, it's your liver, it's your kidneys, it's your brain, it's all the tissues of the body have these sugars on the surface of the cell that distinguishes your blood type. And there are chemicals in foods called lectins that, whether it's tomato, whether it's kale, whether it's broccoli, whether it's milk, meats, whatever, there's certain chemicals in these foods called lectins that if the food is compatible with your blood type, the food will go into the body and will not bond to the sugars. And you will end up having good energy production at the cellular level, and of course all the benefits of reduced inflammation, more healing, and all that. So when you eat foods that are not compatible with your blood type, so I'm an O blood type, so if I eat peanuts, there's lectins in peanuts that will bond to the sugar on the surface of my cells called fucose, whether it's the blood cells, whether it's the intestinal lining, whether it's the joints, it will bond to it, and I will end up experiencing the stress to my body that creates, the lowered energy level, the increased inflammation, the injury to my tissues. Another one is, say, wheat. You've got the wheat germ. So the lectins in wheat germ will bond to N-acetylglucosamine in a no blood type body, which are found in the cartilage of the joints. So eating wheat with wheat germ in it or wheat germ itself will literally, the chemicals, lectins will bond to and damage your cartilage and create inflammation and possibly invite autoimmunity, the immune system to attack your own joints. So eating the right foods is a big deal. So I avoid dairy because it's not good for no blood type, and every time I consume it, I have problems. Other than butter or ghee, which are fine, but milk, cheese, whatever, it's always a negative experience for me, so I avoid those. The B blood types and AB blood types can do okay on dairy. A blood types tend to have low hydrochloric acid, so they don't crave and desire or need as much animal protein in the diet. They do better on fish, tofu, legumes, things like that. So learning what foods are most compatible to your body is like a huge deal, because when you do this, if you have a health issue, it can literally fix it. Just the diet. People have gotten rid of their thyroid problems, they've gotten rid of their arthritis problems, they've gotten rid of their obesity. My friend Andrea has been on this diet for a little while, and the body fat is melting off of her. She's moving towards her more normal ideal weight just from eating the right foods. And so this controls your pH of your body too, because when you are eating foods that have the lectins in them that are going to bond to your cells like Velcro and suppress the cell's energy production, you're now going to sort of like snuff out the ability of the cell to produce optimal levels of ATP or energy per each molecule of glucose, and instead more lactic acid. So just like the carburetor of a car, if you expand the gas vapor in the carburetor and you have enough oxygen present and you have a spark present, you're going to get combustion of that gas into an explosion in energy, which then results in some degree of exhaust or waste. That's the purpose of our tailpipe. Some of you may have also heard that there's been inventions of carburetors to get 200 miles per gallon, 1,000 miles per gallon, that is showing you that you can increase the amount of energy you can get out of that one set amount of gas vapor, such that you have so much more energy and so much less waste production that you get more miles per gallon. So same with the cells of the body. When you are eating foods that are efficiently used as energy and not suppressing the cells, you get more energy production and less lactic acid, less waste production. So this is another key factor to controlling pH, eating the foods compatible for your blood type. And that results in not only pH, but maximum energy production. So I mentioned in the beginning that people should eliminate white sugar from their diet. Well, the reason is because when you consume it, you paralyze the immune system. So your white blood cells, I used to do dark field blood analysis, and I've seen people's blood specimens, hundreds of them, that you end up with a paralyzed white blood cell. So white blood cells feed on carbohydrates. So natural carbohydrates found in fruits, and one of them that's in aloe vera called ace-mannan, literally they feed on that, or beta-glucan. These are polysaccharides, which is sugars or complex sugars that feed white blood cells the energy to be very mobile. So they literally patrol through the body like amoeba. They move on their own. They have their own ability to move. So when you eat white sugar, it so disrupts the white blood cells' communication system and or their food supply that they literally become paralyzed and stop moving for hours at a time. And if you ever wonder why you get a sore throat after you eat a bunch of white sugar, that's it, because you temporarily dropped your immune system, so your white blood cells aren't defending you for a period of time, and all of a sudden you've got a sore throat. So if you want to keep sweets in the diet, you use fruits, you use dried fruits, you use unheated honey, you use maple syrup, you use sucanat. Sucanat is dehydrated cane juice, but it's still got all the minerals and all the vitamins in it, so it doesn't cause that same problem. Or even agave is fine as a sweetener. I'd also like to remind people that the longest lived people on the planet are the Hunza people that live in between Pakistan and Turkey, and they have a unique water supply. So the water comes from glacial snowmelt, and the glaciers grind down the rocky surfaces of the mountains into a silt, and that silt is picked up by the melting glaciers into water, and then it comes into the river, and the river's got this opaque white glacial milk look, and that's what they call it, glacial milk. And you end up with a super mineral rich water that they drink, and they also irrigate their fields with. And they consume about 1/3 a cup of rock calcium and trace minerals in their drinking water, along with their diet mineral supply every day. And they're known to live up to 140 years of age. So these are super healthy people, and they should be an example to all of us. And so we can compensate for our lack of calcium and trace minerals in the food supply by taking them supplementally, even in their inorganic state, because of this ability for the alkaline minerals in their inorganic state to react with acids and create this energy release that we demonstrated earlier. So one of the reasons why I like the Triphos-B and the ATP so much as far as ways to promote your energy is that Triphos-B contains the active form of vitamin B1, B2, and B6. So when I say active, when you take a B vitamin supplement that's in its inactive state, so that's like thiamine, riboflavin, pantothenic acid, niacin, these various B vitamins in their inactive state, the body has to methylate them. So you have to have 5 methylation steps before the vitamin is active. And if you're an undermethylator, that doesn't happen, so you don't create enough active B vitamins in the body to take care of energy production, take care of the creation of neurotransmitters, protein synthesis, lowering homocysteine levels, and all the benefits that the B vitamins offer us. So you can actually take them in their active state. So Triphos-B contains the active or coenzymatic form of B1, B2, B6 in an enteric coating. So another little known fact is that when you take B vitamins in your supplemental form or diet form, some of them are destroyed through the digestive process, the acids in the stomach. Enterically coating them ensures that they do not break down in the stomach, but instead only break down in the small intestines and then absorb into the bloodstream in their fully intact state. And when they get into the cell, B1 and B2 are responsible for fueling energy production. And when the B6 gets into the cell, it's responsible for protein synthesis so the cells can repair themselves, or so you can create brain chemicals, or so you can eliminate all the excess water in your body. So I introduced my brother to this, who has edema and arthritis. All that excess water has just left his body, and all that inflammation is gone. So Triphos-B can wake you up the same day you take it. Same thing with ATP. So the energy molecule of the body that you may not be producing enough of. And if you're listening to this, you probably aren't, or you're listening for a loved one who doesn't have enough energy, you can give yourself the energy molecule of the body, but again, it needs to be introduced into the gut without being destroyed in the stomach, so it's enterically coated too. So it survives the digestive process and absorbs in its whole intact state into the bloodstream. And to make sure that we're balanced in our B vitamin needs, we want to take a B complex, which we've called active Bs. Again, these are mostly all the activated forms, coenzymatic forms of the B vitamins. One of the B vitamins in here that's really profound is called benfotiamine, which is the fat-soluble version of thiamine, and in its coenzymatic state. It's been shown to raise thiamine levels in the body by 5 times higher than if you just took thiamine as a thiamine salt that you would normally get from a B vitamin supplement or a B1 supplement. And it's also been shown to cause an increased uptake of glucose into the cell and to convert that glucose into energy. So if you were just consuming a normal amount of sugar in your diet from normal foods, not white sugar, but natural sugars, it's been shown to increase the uptake and conversion of glucose into energy by 39 to like 45%. And with regards to having an excess amount of glucose in the system, then it's been shown to increase the energy production by 70%, which is pretty profound because the regular vitamin B1 thiamine as a thiamine salt doesn't do that. It's phenomenal what benfotiamine can do for people with blood sugar problems, diabetes. This is a very powerful product. In order to make sure that you have the building blocks needed to create the adrenaline, the norepinephrine, and the dopamine that come from the adrenals, you need to make sure you have enough phenylalanine, which is an amino acid. So I like to recommend that people get on All Basic, which has phenylalanine in it, plus a full spectrum of all, I say about 19 or so amino acids, so that you can ensure that you have proper immune support, proper creation of enzymes, proper creation of proteins. Mostly this is for energy and neurotransmitters so that the mind becomes clear, and it's the support nutrient for the adrenals so that you can be literally feeling better in 45 minutes after you take this stuff. It's another powerful product. So unfortunately, the American culture has been subjected to very poor food quality for many decades now, and the introduction of food-derived MSG into the food supply, which is typically always labeled as natural flavors, but it might be also hydrolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed soy protein. Food-derived MSG is hidden in the food supply because they don't have to tell you that it's there. So when you're buying anything pre-made, whether it's spaghetti sauce, whether it's ice cream, whether it's pizza, whatever, or whether you're going to a fast food restaurant, you're going to always be introducing this natural flavor, food-derived MSG into the system, which is proven to cause you to become insulin insensitive. That's to say, not be able to use your glucose. When that happens, your body can't use that glucose to create energy. It creates fat from it. So we end up having this massive obesity in this culture because of this one ingredient in the food supply that people haven't paid attention to. So people have problems regulating their blood sugar in general. And if they don't now, they typically do later in life. So anything you can do to stabilize your blood sugar so that you aren't needing to eat excessive amounts of starches or sweets in the diet is a game. It's something that's going to protect you from diabetes down the road. So glutamine covers that. Glutamine is a conditional amino acid, which means that when you're under stress, your body benefits immensely from taking it supplementally. The neat thing about glutamine is that the body can use it as a fuel. So your body and muscles prefer glutamine as its fuel over glucose. And this is muscle sparing, so it helps you retain muscle tissue, grow muscle tissue if you're working out. Glutamine fuels the brain so that your brain is stable and it's clear for hours at a time. Glutamine also converts into glutamic acid, which is a brain neurotransmitter that gives you mental clarity and a feeling of being up. It also converts into GABA, which is a calming neurotransmitting amino acid that helps you feel peaceful. So this is very special stuff, and you might gain the energy to want to get up and work out after you take this stuff. So in order for the adrenal glands to work correctly, they need adequate amounts of vitamin C on a daily basis. And there are a vast variety of vitamin C products on the market. You've got pure ascorbic acid, you've got sodium ascorbate, calcium ascorbate, magnesium ascorbate, which is buffered vitamin C, you've got esterified vitamin C, you've got ascorbic acid products or buffered ascorbic acid products with flavonoids, and they all have merit. But the most powerful that I've found in my experience is derived from a fruit called the baobab fruit. It's grown in South Africa. So I've carried baobab fruit powder for quite some time now, and I like this more than the others because I feel it more. So I can take this, and in the past when I still had more lower adrenal function, it would really lift me for quite a bit of time and make me feel very good. because of what it's doing to feed the adrenals. So this is my favorite vitamin C. It has the flavonoids in it. Flavonoids are very powerful in the body for helping create connective tissue. Baobab is also loaded with B vitamins. It has 6 times the vitamin C content of oranges, 2 times the calcium content of milk, plenty of minerals including iron, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, and it's polyphenol rich. Polyphenols are going to gain more attention as time goes on because they do so many wonderful things. One is they help your body to absorb sugar and keep you lean. The other is they help to feed the beneficial bacteria in the gut that also keep you lean, because it's now known that the microbes of our gut to a large degree determine what we crave and what we eat, and whether we're going to be overweight or whether we're going to be lean. So feeding your body adequate amounts of polyphenols on a regular basis will feed these specific organisms in the gut and suppress the growth of the ones that make you eat foods that aren't good for you and put body fat on you. So berries are also a good source of that. So strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, these are all polyphenol rich type foods. But baobab's a really excellent product. It's also very high in the ORAC value. So the oxygen radical absorbent capacity, which is to say its free radical scavenging power, is very high. It's 40% higher than the acai fruit, and it's 20 times the antioxidant power of green tea. So this is very special stuff, very pleasant. Take a scoop of that, say one time in the morning with your meal. So as I mentioned earlier, another key aspect of being able to have adequate and optimal energy all day long is adequate and optimal sleep. Yes, and one of the things that's been missing in the nutrition field's awareness about sleep is that if you think about this, when you're a young person, childhood on up to say age 28, typically you have no problem sleeping. And that's because your body's producing the highest amounts of growth hormone during that period of time. Growth hormone is not only for growing the body to its mature state, it's also for regulating protein synthesis throughout the whole body. So even though your body is fully grown up at age 28, if you could keep your growth hormone levels higher throughout your entire life, they will cause you to stay much younger for a much longer period of time. And one of the reasons why you sleep so deeply during this window of time, childhood up to age 28, is because you're producing this growth hormone. Growth hormone is a major sleep chemical, more powerful and more important than melatonin. So Synergy 1 is this powerful growth factor peptide that you can spray into the cheek area of your mouth, 3 sprays at bedtime, 3 sprays in the morning, hold it there 90 seconds before you swallow, and it will increase your IGF-1 levels. So growth hormone, the chemical growth hormone, is called somatotropin. But after it reacts in the body and does all these changes to the tissues, it's sort of preparing the tissues, and then it creates IGF-1. And IGF-1 is the way by which growth hormone levels are typically measured in the body. And then that results in your body's ability to repair all these different systems. So whether it's your joints, whether it's your discs, whether it's your bones, whether it's your brain, whether it's your kidneys, whether it's your liver, all tissues virtually have a receptor site for IGF-1, which then instructs the cell to open up, absorb amino acids, create proteins, repair itself, keep itself young and strong. It's also a fact that increasing growth hormone levels in the body will increase the telomerase enzyme production by, I believe it's about 35%. And that enzyme is what's responsible for repairing the ends of your DNA, the telomeres, and lengthening them. And that also makes the body younger. So the longer the telomere of the cell, the biologically younger the cell and the body. So this is a very powerful product. We have tons of testimonies. And in the report that I've written, that I hope you take time to read, you'll see a chart showing that over 6 months, men and women over 50 years of age, women had an increase in their IGF-1 levels by 102%, men had an increase of 109%. So there's proof positive that it works. So if ever the adrenals have been damaged in your life, like they were in my body from mercury poisoning, they don't typically repair themselves. The kidneys and the adrenals do not possess the organelle inside the cell called the ribosome. The ribosome is responsible for the cell's ability to make protein within itself, repair itself, and heal itself. So if you compare the kidney adrenal system to the liver has ribosomes throughout all its cells, so that you could lose half your liver and it will grow back, or it can grow back, because of the capacity of these ribosomes to cause this rapid protein synthesis, proliferation, and repair of an organ system like the liver. So that's why people that have not eaten correctly, taken medications, things that have damaged their kidneys, typically go downhill and eventually have to get on dialysis, because the kidneys typically don't repair themselves. Same thing with the adrenals. However, there are ways to cause the adrenals and kidneys to repair themselves by introducing growth factors from the outside. So one of the things the body does on a regular basis is it produces stem cells in the bone marrow. It circulates throughout the bloodstream and deposits in organs and tissues. These are called adult stem cells. So we have these adult stem cells in our adrenals, in our kidneys, and throughout our body. And when you're older, the chemical system that would normally stimulate them to convert into a brand new adrenal cell and heal the adrenals isn't present. So you can take a supplement called ADR Medix that introduces what's called regulatory peptides derived from plant sources that will go to the adrenal adult stem cells and stimulate them to convert into brand new adrenal tissue, brand new adrenal cells, and literally rebuild and heal it so that it's fully healed 100%. When you combine Synergy 1 that helps you raise IGF-1 that then acts upon the adrenals and the kidneys to repair them from the outside, and you take ADR Medix to activate the adult stem cells within the adrenals to convert into brand new adrenal cells, you have yourself a winning combination to heal and repair your adrenal kidney system. And we have actually people that have reversed kidney failure doing Synergy 1 and other things as well, getting off medication. So it is possible. And we even had one person taking the Kidney Medix product, KDN Medix, who was on an organ donor list, was already on dialysis, and over the course of some short period of time, I think it was 4 months, was off dialysis, no longer needed a kidney transplant. So these products work. Now I'd like to hear from 4 people who've had wonderful results following only a portion of what I've recommended here.
After I sent Stephen my pH test readings, he sent me the appropriate calciums and minerals. I was amazed to learn the importance of these minerals that are missing from our soils. My first week, I had more energy and I hardly had an appetite. In addition, now in my second week, my nail beds are getting pink, my cellulite is going away. In fact, my skin all over my body is getting smoother and tighter. After 30 years of diet and supplement experimentation, I'm impressed at how addressing my correct calcium and mineral needs is causing my body to respond so quickly and to look and feel so good.
Hi, my name is Stephen Holstein. In my 20s, I abused stimulants and anabolic steroids to the point where my adrenal glands were shot. I suffered from extreme fatigue and an inability to handle stress. For over 6 years, I have been taking adrenal supplements including herbs, glandulars, vitamin C, and vitamin B5. All these supplements did was treat the symptoms and produced only minimal results. Now, just after 1 month on Synergy 1 and ADR Medix, I truly feel rejuvenated. I have never felt such relaxation before from any adrenal supplement as I did just 10 minutes after taking ADR Medix. I then noticed Synergy 1 made me wake up rested and with much more energy. No more hungover, groggy feeling upon arising. I had almost considered going to another country for stem cell therapy as a last resort, but now I truly feel rejuvenated on Synergy 1 and ADR Medix.
Hi there, Dick Allgaier here. I was a mainstream television news reporter for over 3 decades. I normally never do commercial endorsements. I am very skeptical of health supplements, but a friend of mine told me about his experience with Synergy 1, so I purchased a bottle, and my wife and I have been using it for a few weeks now. I very much dislike so-called energy boosters, those little energy drinks that have caffeine and guarana and other things that make your heart race. This is not that. My experience with Synergy 1 has been great. My mood is better, my joints feel better, I have more vigor, more stamina, way increased productivity. My wife and I both noticed that we even dream more. So I recommend Synergy 1. It's really good stuff. I'm having great results with it.
I'm a 54-year-old career firefighter. I've been active and athletic my entire life. I've been using One World Whey for the past 4 years, and I just love how it makes my body feel and respond to my training. And the past 4 years, I've been dealing with osteoarthritis in my right knee. Even after drugs were injected into my knee, it would just still ache after my workout. I wasn't able to train my legs due to the stiffness and pain in my knee joint. So last spring, I decided to try Synergy 1. Wow. After 2 months of using Synergy One, not only has my knee pain disappeared, but my activity level has increased. My knee no longer aches after 48 hours of climbing in and out of a fire engine. I've even begun squatting at the gym again, and I'm even playing beach volleyball with my daughter. All I can say is thank you, Synergistic Nutrition.
So in my 37-year search of trying to find out ways by which I could heal my adrenals and heal my body and regain the energy and stamina that I knew genetically was mine, I have gone to Germany for stem cells. I've gone to Mexico for stem cells, both animal and human. I have gone to England for magnetic bed therapy. I've owned a very expensive $35,000 magnetic bed device. I have taken quite a few supplements over the years. I bought various devices all along the way. All total, well over $300,000 in my estimates I've spent to regain that energy that I lost when I was mercury poisoned. And I can tell you that this protocol, at a fraction of the price that I spent on all that stuff, is 1,000% more effective and consistent. It works in the body every day. So I invite you to take charge of your life, take charge of your health, so that you're not a statistic, so that you don't have to become a victim, because when you take charge of your life and you regain your health, then you're a force in the world for good, and we need much more good in the world. Thank you for your time and attention. Blessings.